Bernie, we need you. Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to The Right Opinion, the home of a twat with too much free time. And today I lamented. I lamented on the mess that was the first and second debates, which I was far too nice on them in my reaction. Well, the first one at least, which I reacted to lively. I mean, I do stand by one of the statements that I don't think that there was any clear winner. Strangely enough, one of the comments I made was that I think Trump edged it. I wasn't thinking completely straight at the time, but actually as the polls came in, despite all the pundits' remarks that Hillary won, people tended to prefer Trump. Americans in general tend to prefer someone with a bit more bombast in these debates, which is why despite all his interrupting, bumbling and fumbling, he still came out on top of the electorate, which is crazy. How has it come to this? Hillary, how could you let that happen? I made a video earlier this year concerning Hillary Clinton and some of my apprehensions surrounding her. I'd like to make an apology because I seriously underplayed some of those apprehensions because she is just terrible. And internet memes of her destroying Trump supposedly is not going to change people's minds. Despite all the scandals and issues that Trump is involved in, she still fails to capitalize. It's incredible how incompetent she genuinely is. And it made me genuinely think, where is Bernie? Bernie, you were good. You were not just good, you were great. You were a person with a genuine belief in helping people. You were thrashing Republicans in the polls, and now we've come to here with Hillary, who flip-flops more than a pair of fucking sandals, yet she received endorsements from many supposedly progressive figures, despite not being trustworthy to represent the people. And this can be demonstrated, and to demonstrate that, I've got my good friend and animator, Mr. Codswallop, to put on a little show on some of Hillary's history. Take it away, my friend.
You've got to keep your white and the black separate.
Welcome to the 1960s. There was a major movement in the 1960s. Don't know if you've heard of it. It's called the Civil Rights Movement, and this was a gigantic step forward to end segregation in the United States. But I bet you're wondering, how was this related to Bernie Sanders and Hillary? Well, listen here, you dumb bitch, while I slap some fucking knowledge in your brain. So Bernie Sanders, you know who he is, took the part of leading a group in Chicago University to protest against racial discrimination and segregation in the university housing. And this stunning young chap is Bernie, by the way. He took part in many protests in Chicago and stood by the side of Martin Luther King, an absolute beautiful man. Kiss you. However, there's always a cunt to the story, and his name is Barry Goldwater, who was a Republican presidential candidate who was against putting an end to racial segregation as a whole. Bit of a wank, if you ask me. So where was the dribbling wrench Hillary Clinton during all of this? Well, she was campaigning for Barry Goldwater, of course.
I was a Goldwater girl.
And you know what that means? Yeah, she was a Republican at the time. She was a Republican. Take that as you will.
He had to research that shit to make that animation, so go and give him some credit on his channel. I cannot praise him enough. I'll leave his link in the description as well. Hillary landed under gunfire. She always believed in gay marriage, her emails were a mistake, and she always carries around hot sauce with her. There were just a few of her transparent lies that everyone saw through, and yet she still won enough delegates despite being about as desirable as a vasectomy to all those fellow keyboard warriors I see out there. Bernie was a good man. He was on the right side of history. He was right about civil rights. He was right about the Iraq War, and he was right about many of his policies. About free tuition, universal healthcare, all initiatives that have proven to work well in different parts of the world. Yet Democrats have shot themselves in the foot with this nomination. A person who makes the mistakes and then apologizes after. Hillary, it'd be better if you didn't make the mistakes in the first place. I miss Bernie. He brought a passion and experience unmatched. He was extremely popular in swing states and would have been able to bring a left-leaning populism desperately yearned for by the public all over the world. When people say they're surprised that Trump is doing strongly, I tell them I'm not. Clinton is a puppet, propelled by those who are only driven by the means of self-interest. In this political climate of angst and annoyance of politicians, Bernie would have slayed. But there's not much we can do about it now. Once again, I'd like to thank Mr. Codswallop, and I implore you to check out his channel. He does a lot of interesting animation, and I have complete respect for him, given how hard it often is. I hope to report on some less frustrating news next time, but until then, I'm The Right Opinion. Fuck me, not America.
It's got you singing like, oh, it's got you feeling right, oh, it's got you feeling like, Grazed in my afro's my tip, reach under my mattress to grab my stash and